A few weeks ago, and it was a Friday, and it was packed for I got there about noon. But anyway, I was out on the trail, kind of as you leave Baker's and head towards Urban, and there was a guy on an excavator, and we're like, "What are you doing?" And we were just, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna make this maybe a little hip or maybe a little double, not too fast, because you come up on these trails right here. I think it was right before you get it was right before you get the Freds, and I was like, oh, and my buddy was just like, he was kind of like in awe, like this guy. He's like, they're just out here working on, I think back here it's kind of like, all right, let's plan a day, and this guy's just out here on a average. Seems like just an average day.
Well, we're fortunate that that was Dave Williams, and Dave works directly for the club, and he's a little more than a part-time employee. We'd love to have him full time, but he's on the ground as many days as he can manage. And he's on our equipment, tuning up things. He spends a lot of time at Baker Creek. And anytime that we have volunteers, we hook them up with Dave, because Dave's a great shaper. And in addition to that, he's trained on saws. And so, we use him for certain snags and really large trees that blow down in the urban wilderness as well.
Yeah, it was funny. We're like, hey, when you're done, can you come up to the Northern Kentucky area? He's like, do you guys need some trail help? We're like, we're like, no, we'll just take you all the time. He just seemed super into it, and was happy to talk to us, and it was nice.
Yeah, Dave's a great guy.
So this is kind of like a two-part question. So what's the best way to find the trail conditions? Because I know I reached out to you. That was I was trying to get faster than what probably was posted, because I knew somebody was heading down the next day. So what's the best way? And then also, if they are wet, what do you allow, or what's your time frame for drying out?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing, check on our website, so ambcknox.org. And we've got a trail conditions monitor on our main page. You can scroll down, and it's got a number of different parks and even areas within our network. And we try to update those just about every day at this point. Things that are always good to go include the Baker Creek Bike Park, and that's because it's an asphalt all-weather surface, and it's also, the only other part to that is that there's a gravel line over there. And so, we've got people out there, sweeping snow off of it so they can ride their bikes. Then, we break it down into different parks, like Baker Creek Preserve. Right now it's closed, and Baker Creek actually has some gates on it at the top of Cruise and also at the top of Devils. So if you see those gates closed, just keep in mind the club just has an honor system on those. Keep them closed and continue on. But, in reaction to folks really wanting to ride all the time, the club put about $145,000 into Marie Myers Park, aka the year-round Get Down, and that's accessible by Redbud Crest. From Baker Creek, you just ride up and over Redbud Crest, and you're into Marie Myers Park. And it's got a number of all-weather trails that we fundraised for, and they're hardened and in various ways. Some are more of just a crushed stone. Others are actually 100% stone that was placed purposefully, and it's got some great rock gardens through there. Night Eyed was the builder on most of the year-round Get Down stuff. One of the favorite trails over there is Party in the Woods, a great line that's open, every day of the year. Other wet weather options in the Knoxville area include Sharps Ridge, which has a great gravity trail called Nightfall, another one by I'd Ride Builders. And then more cross-country feel is Loyston Point, and that's a TVA system. It's up on Norris Lake, but it drains incredibly well, very similar to Sharps Ridge,
I,
and you
I,
can just get out there and pedal for miles and get some great laps in.
I heard Lewiston's actually fairly flowy and fast. It's cross country, but it's not like
Yeah,
it's fun.
it's super fun. There are two loops over there, and make sure to do them both. And I want to say one's 7 miles and the other one is 5 miles. And you can do a figure eight and sort of cut part of that short if you wish. But no, it's a great system to have in our network, and it's a super fun location to go to in the summer because it's right there on Norris Lake, and you can hop off your bike at any time and take a dip in the water, and there's a great campground there too.
So yeah, when I was there a few weeks ago, Barn Burner and I forget the other trail, right? Valley. They were open.
Cruise Valley.
Cruise
Yep.
Valley, yeah. So they were open. It was 45 and then 45 degrees out. And then,
Mm-hmm.
but Devils, I guess the way it's on the backside, man, it was it was still very. I'm not gonna say frozen, but a very shaded area to where it wasn't like how it usually is. Didn't run very
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah, and so I mean, if things are running super slow, if you're leaving tracks, we often just, it's part of rider education is saying, hey, it's not always a good day to ride your bike on some of these trails. So
Yeah,
we just got to use everybody have good judgment and decide, if you make it to the top and barn burner's not running very well, then don't force fit it. Just ride the Marie Myers and hit the year-round get-down stuff, or head back down to the bike park and hone your skills on those tables down there.
I actually we actually found ourselves kind of sessioning the new little like stuff going off towards the bridge a little bit. Not this.
Yeah.
I mean, that stuff's
Yeah.
just fun, man.
Oh, it is. I know it's short. It's just makes you smile. So yeah, those are the new features in between Baker Creek and the Gateway Park. And they're doing some additional paving down there this week. And then the restroom facilities and that sort of thing are going in we're hoping over this winter.
So
Into the spring.
is the goal, because you get off that exit, but instead of go straight because the dead ends, is the goal just to park right there and start there? Or
Yeah, so the goal is to have some parking there.
okay,
And then there's a new road that they built that sort of parallels that greenway with all the bike features. There'll be some parking along through there, and in addition to that, there's also parking at the school that's right over there. So honestly, there's going to be quite a bit of parking, more so than what we have right now, and a lot better organized than it is in the current parking lot that honestly isn't the city's parking lot. That's a private lot that won't always be around.
I gotcha. Yeah, that's gonna be nice just to park like right there, and then you start having like a little flow fun, and work yourself over to Baker's.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's a great little warm up through there. I don't know if you noticed, but there's a little trail that we call the Little Devil. It's a Strider bike trail that's in there right just past the end of the parkway there. But yeah, I mean, for anybody coming from across the country, basically, we just tell them, hop on I-40 and get off on James White Parkway, and you're going to dead end into the urban wilderness. So.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So aside from all that, I just found out about so I've always gone to Sono Taco, but then some local said, hey, no, you got to try this you got to go down like a mile at most, and there's like a strip of breweries and stuff. I'm like, really? Like, I didn't even know anything about this. We drive down there, and what do you know? There's breweries, there's pizza. I'm like, this is incredible. Like, I don't even know. So the whole area is growing, it seems like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in the future, there's going to be a greenway all along James White Parkway there, coming from the Gateway Park, a greenway all the way down to Sevier Avenue is the area that you were in.
Okay.
And, that lays host to, as you mentioned, a number of breweries and some great supporters of AMBC Alliance, Trailhead Beer Market, South Coast Pizza, the folks over at Highwire and Honeybee Coffee, and there's a great restaurant there, Simple, right next to Alliance. So, yeah, I mean, lots of options there for folks to enjoy a bite to eat or a drink afterwards. So,
do you think Baker's or Urban Wilderness was kind of the start of that whole growth of area?
I would say that definitely had an influence.
Yeah, you don't want to take full credit, but in a sense,
no,
yeah.
there's no coincidence that it's called Trailhead Beer Market. So, Joe and Corey over there have been really great to the community over time, and we appreciate everything that all the entrepreneurs have done in that area, and it's continuing to grow, and we can't wait to see what it's like in another 5 or 7 years.
So World Cup downhiller Dakota Norton lived in your area. He's moved like over to I can't think of a small town outside Asheville, but how did he help in a sense of development, or just was there any part of him just living in the area that helped growth at all?
I mean, having world-class riders in town is always helpful. Dakota's, he's a great guy and super talented rider, and of course he was in the area, probably number one for Windrock, and having Sean and Nico over there developing Windrock Bike Park, helped push things in this area. But having Dakota actually live right near Baker Creek, he was using Baker Creek Preserve as a training ground in the entire urban wilderness, and it was just great to have an advocate and a professional out there interacting with everyone else who's out there on the trail. And so he was a part of the fabric of Knoxville, and we miss him, and he certainly helped the builders out at the bike park quite a bit as they were doing some testing, and he will always push the limits of any design, and it's great to be able to see the visions that he has for trail.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. So another professional, not so much on the downhill, but I guess YouTuber, but he's also pretty well known in the bike world, is Jeff Winowski. Mm-hmm. He thought highly of your all's trails. He's, I watched his video with the Lone Wolf, how he was blown away by how much trail you guys got out with not a ton of elevation. So if you spoke with Jeff, what, is he going to come back or anything like that?
Yeah, we've had some conversations, and, we do hope to have him back. Sort of depends on, obviously, the schedule and what all's going on down here. But, we'd love to have Jeff back in town. And it's hearing those statements from him just goes to show that this community is something really special. And we may not have the bankroll of a Bentonville, but we've got heart and soul, and have bootstrapped this system from day one, and what that's done is built a phenomenal community, and everybody loves to ride and travel to ride, and that's the great thing about our sport is we can always go somewhere else and learn something and see some fresh ideas on different trails. And but a lot of, we're pretty spoiled here.
If you enjoyed this clip from the Rubberside Down podcast, please like and subscribe. To listen to the full episode, search the Rubberside Down in your streaming platform or click the link below.